Merry Christmas, beautiful tribe. I hope you're having a great day. It's Tuesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, coming at you from beautiful Sedona, Arizona. And long time no see, as I've been away for a bit due to some unfortunate family events. While I was away, of course, the wild and crazy events continued to happen all over the globe while we witnessed more predictions coming into fruition over the past few weeks. Starting with the very sad and the very tragic event that played out at a Christmas market in Germany, when a crazed individual decided to use their vehicle to bring harm upon innocent Christmas shoppers at the Christmas season. A similar event that the media seems to fail to be telling you about actually played out in, of all places, China. China, an even bigger event. And it appears that people are seeming to truly lose their minds. So what's next? And could New York City be vulnerable and more vulnerable than ever as we approach the apple drop on New Year's Eve? Because folks all over the East Coast of the United States and really literally all over the globe continue to see drones and other abnormal sky phenomena happening. So many speculations and strange things, especially with the East Coast drones. Some seen shooting lasers, while others appear to be spraying some type of substance, along with other reports of things being shot down over the ocean. If this isn't a sign for what is soon to come, friends, then I don't know what is. I don't know what is. There is so much on our doorsteps right now, so much on our doorsteps that we are going to discuss today, including an attack that I feel may likely soon hit right here in the United States. But I also believe and feel that this is going to be connected to global attacks. And I'll explain that today. I made some past predictions revolved both around the health of the Clintons and the health of Nancy Pelosi. And as you know, Nancy had a really bad fall and Bill is in the hospital. Could Bill Clinton be one of the 3 back-to-back presidential funerals coming in 2025? I had a vision of 3 back-to-back presidential funerals. Who could they be? And is it approaching in 2025, as 2025 is a year of endings and death of cycles, so I assure you that it's likely happening in 2025. Maybe as soon as we step into the month of January. Another interesting event that played out this past week is the strange and unusual, very strange and unusual, and it seemed to be sort of an emergency of some sort, an emergency visit to the White House by both Joe and Kamala. Interesting. Are they about to push Joe Biden out, as I predicted in the past, a few years back? And why would they do that last minute? Of course, who knows why they do half the things they do? Well, we're going to discuss that today and the strange things that are going on at that White House. We also we knew that there was a huge eruption coming volcanically in the United States specifically. Now, Mount Kilauea in Hawaii just erupted with a spectacular sight, to say the least. Although, that is considered United States. But I had feelings of other eruptions coming to the United States within the North America itself, not just Hawaii. Hawaii's out in the ocean. So we're going to talk about that today because I feel like this could be on our doorsteps. And I'm going to match up many of my past predictions like a puzzle, friends, like a puzzle, with some of my new strong feelings of a coming attack that I feel is inevitable when it comes to United States. And if you are in New York, LA, Chicago, or any of them big cities, really anywhere in the United States, you are not going to want to miss today's episode. With only 7 days remaining in 2024 and our huge leap into 2025, what possible events could be on our horizon? Are we shifting into the 4D as we step into 2025? Could that be what some of the signs in the skies are related to? Because it is in prophecy, signs in the heavens. It's throughout the Bible and other prophecies, even Nostradamus. Perhaps the signs that we see in the heavens, perhaps is a big sign of what's to come. Or are they just playing with our heads? They could be just playing with our heads, friends. They could just be playing with our heads. And you know what's really interesting? There is an alignment of 7 planets happening as soon as we kick in the new year in January. An interesting alignment, all related to the 7 and the sacred number of the number 7. And so, other than that, I want to know how you are going to celebrate the kickoff of 2025, and I'm going to give you some tips today to help assist you in manifesting an amazing year. Because remember, your thoughts and words are the blueprints to the future, and we got to get that all in order before we step into the new year so that you can tell universe where it is that you want to be in the future. Even though all this craziness is happening, doesn't mean you have to be part of that craziness. Remember that. And so we're going to talk about all that today. So let us dive in, friends, to episode number 146.
Tittle tea time, baby.
Merry Christmas once again, beautiful souls, beautiful tribe. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. And if you're new here and new to the channel and you want accurate predictions, prophecy, truth, and you want to vibe with our awesome tribe, be sure to smash that subscribe, the bell, and all so that you get notifications. And know that I'm here relatively. I wasn't last week due to circumstances of my father's passing, but I am relatively here each and every Tuesday. Wednesday, depending on where you reside and on this beautiful planet that we all share together. And some people are ringing in Christmas right now as I'm recording this at 1:25 in the afternoon in Sedona, Arizona. And again, if you're new here, first I want to say thank you for all the condolences around my father's pass and all your comments, warm wishes. Thank you. Me and my family appreciate that with infinite love and gratitude. And I want to thank all the supporters who make this free content possible for everybody else. I have my 2025 predictions that I have to redo. I could post the whole Zoom thing, but I'll just redo the whole thing over the next couple days. That is going to premiere on Sunday, this coming Sunday, before New Year's. Usually it's New Year's Day, but I'm going to go live on New Year's Day, taking your questions for the new year. So we're going to do it a little different this year. So be sure to, again, keep an eye out. Make sure you set your notifications. And know if you don't see me on a Tuesday or by Wednesday, check the channel directly to make sure that you didn't miss notifications. And yesterday, I did a video about the Pope opening up these portals beginning today. If you want more information about that, check out the video I did yesterday, which a few people, not many, but a few had some kind of problem with the sound. Doesn't surprise me because of the content that I put out in that video. So I'm not going to record it. And then there's a section in that video where there's music. That is a clip that I put in there. That is not my music. I didn't put it in there, but it's the only clip I could find to share that information with you in the video. And you know, if you don't want that information, you can always skip past that part. Also, down below, you'll find in the description the links to all my social media content platforms, including the Awaken Your Spirit platform of supporters who make this content possible, along with the newsletter, which is free. Sign up for that newsletter so you know what's going on astrologically with the numerology and all of my past content. So, shall we move on now to episode number 146 of Teatime, baby? Even though we are still a week away from a new year, our ancestors may have likely already have been wishing us a new year a few days ago when the solstice rung in, bringing in this new wave of energies that are going to continue to flow in as we step into 2025. Friends, it's literally going to be amazing on many different levels. Just depends on what side you plug into and the energies you plug into. And it's now Christmas and the celebration of birth on top of that. The birth of Jesus and also the new birth that's coming to our planet as well. Huge birth as we are all totally together, slowly moving in and shifting into this higher levels of consciousness that some are referring to the 4D and the 5D. Think about this. Perhaps that's why these orbs, not the drones, but the orbs, the strange orbs and things that people think are Ezekiel's wheel, which it really does look like that, flying around in our skies. Have you ever considered the thought that all these waves, light waves and light codes that came in over the past few months, that Spirit told us were going to come from the sun, ascending us? Perhaps we're seeing something now that was always there, but just now we're able to see it as we shift into this 4D dimension. So coming up just before the new year, we have this perfect alignment on December 30th when we are actually going to ring in our second new moon of December. And in perfect timing right before New Year's. It's going to be the new moon in the sign of Capricorn. And this is literally going to offer us all, friends, a perfect alignment, a powerful opportunity for us to plant our seeds for 2025 and beyond. It's a perfect time to focus on all the gratitude and blessings for the past year, along with giving us time to reflect on our goals moving forward into 2025, and doing so with this commitment and disciplined action to ensure that you reach those goals. And again, tapping into the future, knowing you already have in the future. I highly recommend that you use this coming new moon on December 30th and New Year's Eve. Do both or do one or the other, because we'll still be in that powerful cycle on the 31st as well. But use it to your advantage, because this is a pivotal time for holding in the light the vision of what you want your future to be. So take some time to sit and write down a message to the universe with all the blessings and all the lessons that you have learned over the past year. I do it every year. I write 2 of them, actually. I write a letter thanking the universe for everything that's happened this year, the lessons I learned, the things I discovered, or whatever. I pour my heart out. I do that usually New Year's Eve. I'll probably do it on the new moon, though, on the 30th. And then I write another one as if I stepped into the future a year from now. And I'm like, darn universe, thank you. I finally got that red Mustang convertible that I always wanted. You got the point. I don't want a red Mustang convertible unless you're going to send me one. Then I'll take the red Mustang convertible. But write it as if you're in the future, thanking the universe for the blessings throughout 2025. Very, very powerful thing to do. And I do it every year. Every year. And again, that's a pivotal time. The universe is making it even more magical for us by not only New Year's Eve, but being in that energy of the waxing moon cycle that starts on the 30th. Again, the waxing moon cycle is all about manifesting and making things happen. So follow up also, another idea is follow up by writing down all the things that you wish to manifest and call in from the universe in the new year. So I always say, when I write things down, new moons and such, thank you, universe, for opening me up, because we have doors that we don't know exist that need to be open, and bringing me, because universe will bring it to us. Thank you, universe, for opening me up and bringing me blank, 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 blank. And whatever it is you're manifesting works really like a charm. Now, when I was a little kid, my mom was awesome. Both my parents were awesome. But my mom, when we were little kids, had this yearly tradition. Every year, she would have a little green bayberry scented candle. She had that every New Year's Eve, and she would sit and do that with the kids. And it was meant to light the candle and let it burn through New Year's Eve to bring good luck and abundance into the new year. Green, of course, is the color of fertility, rebirth and abundance, blessings, and bayberry scent strengthens all of those qualities. It's hard to find bayberry scented candles. I just found some. I just ordered some. I hope they come in time. It says they'll come in time. And you might want to do a little one, because the whole ritual is to let the candle burn out completely. Now, what I do is I use a green candle every year to represent that fertility and rebirth. And I conduct a little ceremony every New Year's Eve. And I place my paper with my affirmations and manifesting beneath the green candle. And when you do that, find the receipt right here. You write it down on your little square paper or whatever. Fold it towards yourself 3 times to represent that it's coming at you threefold. Then place it underneath your candle and let that candle burn out. And what I do is after the candle burns out, I take my little paper, toss the leftover wax out, take the little piece of paper and I put it in a little container, a little box. I have a whole box of papers. And every few years I'll go through that box and read the papers, and it's real fun. It's a lot of fun, actually. You're like, oh my God, that happened. Oh, happened better than I thought. And then the ones that come true, in a full moon ceremony, I'll light the papers in a blessing ceremony, a gratitude ceremony that has come into fruition. Just some things to help you so that you can make the best out of programming the coming year 2025. Because even though it's going to be chaos on the planet, it does not mean it needs to be chaos in your life, especially if you're prepared instead of being scared. Speaking of New Year's and New Year's Eve, a member of our tribe actually helped me to recall this past prediction that I made a few years back. It might have even been about 3 years ago, where I had this very strong concern for those gathering to celebrate the New Year's for the apple drop in New York City. And y'all, depending on how long you've been following me, you may remember that. It was probably at least 3 years ago, I would say. Probably maybe exactly around 3 years ago. Strong feeling of that. And that was the same year, and that's how we could figure out when that prediction was made, actually. That same year, there was a crazed man with a knife, and that was about it. And I felt that wasn't it. I felt that there was something much bigger, much more nefarious, so to speak, an attack of some sort. And as many of y'all know, some of my predictions don't actually come into fruition sometimes 2, 3, 4 years later. And then some don't come into fruition at all. This is one I'd like to not come into fruition at all, to be honest with you. I'd rather be wrong on this one. So now we have this very strange activity happening, right? First on the East Coast of the United States, started off with New Jersey, then New York, then it moved on. And there are, alleged drones, which now has spread all over the place, all over the country. Seen in Nevada, the West Coast, Los Angeles, been seen everywhere. Mostly on the coasts, interesting enough. Like, the West Coast and the East Coast. I don't know about the rest of the country. I think maybe somebody saw some over Illinois too. You let me know in the comments where you may have seen some of these drones. Or where besides New Jersey, Maryland, New York, the ones that we already know that went viral first. And now, there's those that want to believe that they're looking for something that's missing, nuclear waste. And that's the claim that they made. There was a claim made that this package of nuclear waste showed up and the crate was empty. That's what they say. But they also say that whatever's missing can't cause serious harm and it's not a big deal. And then there's also other stories behind this too. And I believe that they say that it's not a big deal and that missing waste, it can't cause much harm, nothing to be worried about. You know what? I believe that just as much as I believe Biden's running the country right now. So we have no cause of alarm, no cause for alarm, right? No cause for alarm. Now remember, Spirit says nothing is as it appears to be. I was told that since I was really young. Nothing as it appears to be. And that didn't really sink into my head when I was younger. But as I grow older, it's become more and more making sense. Nothing is as it appears to be. And those in charge sure would like to deceive us in order to fulfill their own dark agendas, as we all know. And there's a lot of talk that in this whole series of drones and things. And apparently paperwork that proves this, that back during the Russian thing and the Cold War, suddenly 180 to 100 missing briefcases that had, nuclear something in them went and disappeared. And now all of a sudden people say that's what they're looking for. Well, why would we be hearing about this decades later? Wouldn't they have been looking for them a long time ago? Just my thought. Because decades later, it just makes no sense to me, friends. Makes no sense to me at all. And remember, they will find any excuse possible to deceive the public, to deceive us and make us think something completely different. And then I saw this thing, I think it was yesterday. It was live on one of the news channels. It showed up on my YouTube feed when I went to look. And it was the guy at the Pentagon still insisting that these are nothing more than hobbyist drones. Hobbyist drones the size of a car? Yeah, I don't think so, friends. I don't think so. And all at nighttime? So there's also footage of drones shooting lasers, drones being knocked out of the sky by strange orbs. When they approach the orbs, they get pushed out of the way. There's also even claims that some of these orbs resemble Ezekiel's wheel, which is, I gotta say, quite convincing, as described in the book of Ezekiel, of course. I want to know, again, what you think in the comments down below. Perhaps this is, again, really what the dark overlords want you to believe. They want you to believe this. They want you to shift. They want to shift folks into this fear state. And I tell you, do not fall for it, friends. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for their games. And that's how we can prevent things and shift things in a different direction, by bringing this awareness to everyone. And I still consider the orb thing could be two things, because I saw one of the orbs close up, and to me it looked like there was a vehicle, like a UFO, in the center of it. So I took it as a cloaking device. And that could be, again, drones with cloaking devices that appear to us to look like orbs. Remember there was a video of a guy using a pow pow, which is so less than smart. Dude, what are you thinking? First of all, it's a federal offense to shoot down a drone in the United States. Number one. Yeah, I wonder why they made that law, come to think of it. Interesting. They made that law. Interesting. So we all go out, start. Oh, you know what? I just had another memory from Channeled Predictions where I saw, or Spirit said in that Channeled Predictions, that people gather in the streets to look up in the skies. Now, I don't believe that's necessarily the drone thing. Maybe what's coming soon. I thought more when I heard people all around the world taking to the streets to look in the sky. Has to do with the planet Nibiru and the whole prophecy of the Hopi's blue star and red star Kachina. I did a really good documentary type video on that quite some time ago, a couple of them. One of them is titled, I think, Friday, well, I know the date's Friday, October 13th, 2029. And I have no doubt, I'm convinced that that's the Hopi prophecy. I'll make sure and put a link. And if you don't see a link pop up, down below in the description, you can always find the 5 different videos that we link at the bottom of the page each and every week. So keep in mind that all of this is occurring too right after the elections here in the United States and other big elections that took place around the world. And of course, the win of Trump. And the one man that they have been trying so hard to wipe off the face of the planet and tarnish as much as they possibly can. And they're going to continue to try to take him out. As I made many predictions revolved around that in the past without going back to that. So now, what do you think the drones are? A huge deception? Is exactly what I think they are. A huge deception to make us think they're searching for something. And yeah, maybe they are, but just hypothetically speaking, remember, they're deceptive in all aspects. They want to shift our beliefs. They want to put fear into people. They want you to see them spraying stuff, and that could be just water they're spraying. Just, again, to get people talking. To get people in that state, oh my God, what are they spraying? I got to go inside. They spray the skies all the time, and I noticed they've been doing that a lot. Like crazy here in Sedona since I got back from my father's funeral. So 3 days each day. And it's weird. Every morning I wake up, I look out my back window. And there's one chemtrail that goes right over the mountain and right over my house. Every morning, same time. Weird. So they're already doing that. We already know about all that. But I say a huge deception is exactly what they want us to think. Because they want you to think they're searching for something. Think about this. Something the deep state already possesses. They already possess all this stuff, right? They possess it. And then the stuff that they're looking for. That's what I mean. They possess that. They have it. The deep state, or whatever you want to call them. Dark overlords, the puppeteers. We can come up with a million other names. But they would already possess such horrific weapon systems or what have you. Then they decide to use it, right? They decide to use it, but then they turn around and claim, oh, well, we did, try to find it. But we didn't tell you because we didn't want to cause a panic. And sorry, we failed. We failed at finding it. In turn, again, I got to be honest here. I do see battles in our skies. And I see bizarre things occurring in the near future and throughout 2025. And again, speaking of 2025 and predictions, for those who are just tuning in, they will premiere on Sunday, whatever that date is. What is that date? The 30th? 30th? Yeah, 30th. Yeah, Sunday the 30th? No, the 29th? Whatever Sunday is, friends, whatever that date is, I will have them premiering in the evening after my clients. So Spirit kept showing me the inauguration and, in a vision. And I saw jets in my vision flying above. And I feel that there's something really off when Spirit showed me this vision. I felt something was really, really off with this, the coming January 20th inauguration. Something feels very off and very different. All I saw was just a quick flash vision, as if I was there. And I looked up and saw jets going by. And I don't know if that's typical. I mean, I watched inaugurations, but I don't remember jets. I would think it's probably typical. And I saw visions of Washington, D.C. being blocked off like they did back in the day when Biden came in. Remember that? I saw visions of that happening again. And something big happening in Washington, D.C. All these memories are coming back to me, putting the puzzle pieces together. And I talked about the Capitol building in the past and the desire and the agenda to take it down completely. Some type of fear type of attack. So Washington, D.C. needs to be on alert. Of course, if something does happen in Washington, D.C., it'd be on a holiday when everybody's away. You know, conveniently. If it was an inside job, of course, conveniently, it would happen when none of them are there. Or only the ones that are there that they don't want, you know, that they want to eliminate. So when I had this vision of the inauguration again, it just something felt really off to me. It felt very different. So I'm going to say that perhaps they're going to make some last minute changes when it comes to the inauguration on January 20th. And some odd changes, things that they may perhaps never done before at an inauguration in the United States. And I feel that these are probably, you know, historic changes. Historic changes that are going to happen at the inauguration in the United States before the next president comes in. When the next president comes in. And on a side note, another strange and unusual last-minute occurrence took place in Washington, D.C. just in the past week, if you didn't know. Both President Biden and Harris all of a sudden made this sudden trip to the White House when it's holiday and nobody's there. Nobody's there. Nobody's in D.C. And they made this sudden trip to the White House. Some believe it's due to the drone invasion, you know, secret meetings or whatever they do, confidential. They like to make everything confidential. You notice that? Senate, they all come together and it's all private, all confidential. Not cool. They're supposed to be working for us. They're supposed to be telling us what's going on. And they're not. Because they probably had to sign papers to sell their souls. And some of them probably didn't. And there are probably ones not in those confidential meetings. So anyway, I felt that other people with the Biden thing are speculating that, what is it, the 25th or something that they're going to use on him, saying that he's not liable health-wise to continue. Remember they put that whole little law into effect during the Biden administration, saying that it wasn't about Trump, you know, this isn't about Trump's health. Man, because perhaps it's about Biden's health. And they'll probably try to use that on Trump when the time comes in too. Don't be surprised. They're going to try everything. Remember, impeach. Never impeached. It's going to be interesting, friends. And I know it don't make any sense why they would do this last minute run to the White House. But I don't know. The puppeteers are in charge here. And I'd say that Biden's still on his way out one way or another. It's in my past predictions. And, you know, going back years ago, 3-4 years ago, Spirit said that it would be last minute. At the very end, I saw Harris take an oath to take over Biden's spot. And it felt for a very short period of time. Well, we're getting really short now, so if it don't happen by New Year's, it probably ain't going to happen. But I also saw visions of 3 presidential funerals, and that was a few years back. And we see the Clintons are having problems with their health, which I said in predictions, and actually it's in my 2025 predictions, come to think of it, about the Clintons. I forget exactly what I said about them, but it's not good. One of them's going to pass away for sure. One of the Clintons, that's in my 2025 prediction. I forgot all about that. And I did those over a week ago before Bill ended up in the hospital recently. So, yeah, something's happening. I hope he's fine with what's going on now, but he's not going to be around long. So he's going to be one. Jimmy Carter is going to be the other. I'm pretty positive Biden's going to be the next. Let's hope they don't succeed in getting Trump out. I do believe they will, while not succeed health-wise. As I said way back in 2016, the 3rd year of his 2nd term. Natural causes, health. So the dark overlords, as I like to refer to them as, are going to try to push us deeper and deeper into WW3. Because whether folks want to realize it or not, we're already in it, and we have been for quite some time. They also want to push down and bring down the economy, and they want to make Trump's entrance into the White House a very, very difficult one from the very start. They plan to fly several flags, ever so falsely, beginning in the United States, and following flags flying ever so falsely in Israel and in parts of Europe. So yeah, friends, something big's coming. Something really big's coming. And at least one of these flags that fly ever so falsely, the psychopaths wish to use to take out a huge chunk of people. to fulfill a depopulation agenda. And we have Mother Nature that's going to do that naturally. We don't need them interfering with that stuff, but of course they are. They're doing it with everything. Our foods, everything. But look, we're becoming aware of it now, right, friends? We got to look at the positive side of this. People are now aware. They're awakening to the toxic food, toxic chemicals in our foods and everything else. And now Bobby Kennedy is going to come in. And believe me, I think they might, well, I know they're going to try to take him out. But I think they might succeed, actually. I have this strong feeling that, like, they're going to do something to take out Bobby Kennedy. And quickly. So I'm going to say, perhaps as soon as we step into 2025, Bobby Kennedy better have some very strong security. Because he's easier to get to than DT is. And they want them both out. I also see some type of an attack on Musk. I don't know, an attack of some sort on Musk. A physical attack. Like somebody crazed or something. And that just came to me now. Remember, this is no longer a conspiracy, any of this. Because they now have put their agendas right in our faces of what they want to do. And for a long time now. And now we see them pressing the button. One button after another. Remember, Spirit told us? We would be hit with one big thing after another. And that's what it seems like they're doing. Seems like somebody's pressing one button after another, launching one big event after another. And we have to all remain positive during these times. And strong. And, of course, always be prepared, as I've been telling you since January 2000. Stock up. Be prepared. And I'm not one that usually, back days, a decade ago, people be like, you're stock up. I'm like, no, don't feel that. I'm not feeling it. Now I'm feeling it. And I made sure I have everything I need to last me at least a couple months. And I hope to continue building up that stock of stuff. So now brace yourselves first. My nose is itching. Means I'm going to get in a fight. Isn't that what that means? I wish my palm would itch for money. No. So brace yourselves, friends. Because this is what I truly feel is upon us in the near future. I really, truly, by putting together all the many different past predictions and visions that I've had over the past few years, and I got to say, again, with total honesty, it feels a bit scary and very tragic as to what could actually play out much sooner than later. So let's first look at a quick rundown of some of my past predictions, starting with the major power outages. My visions of seeing a city go completely dark. And then we have my past prediction of something huge happening in New York City. And Chicago, too. Chicago just rang in my ear. Something similar, perhaps much larger than the event that took place in September 11th, 2001. I saw visions of military taking to the streets in New York City. I saw them guarding bridges and tunnels. And speaking of tunnels, I also had a vision of an something going boom boom, packed into a vehicle, or a truck or SUV or something, that ignited halfway through some type of a tunnel. Perhaps, again, if this is the United States, I'm not sure. I believed it was. And this goes back a few years ago as well. So perhaps the Lincoln, the Holland, or the Queens Mary tunnels. Queens Mary popped out at me a lot. You would think the Lincoln, they're common. Lincoln, well, Lincoln, come to think of it, Spirit just popped in my ear. Lincoln was assassinated. Interesting, right? And then isn't there a ship, the Queen Mary? So there's Queens Mary tunnel, and didn't they dock that ship? It's like a haunted ship now, I believe. Interesting enough. So it's holding the light. Because another disturbing past vision is I had seen men in masks, or women. There could have been women there too. I don't know. I saw people in masks. Let's say people in masks taking to the streets with firearms in their arms. And they had masks over their face because they were, pushing fear attacks. And I felt strongly, it felt very, very strongly to me that it was within likely, inside attack type thing, something from the inside. And likely the cause of why I saw visions of the military taken to the streets. And not long ago, I saw similar military movements in the United States, United Kingdom, France, and perhaps several other countries. Poland just jumped in my mind, and so did Germany. Interesting enough. So we also discussed from channel prediction session, where I saw multiple simultaneous explosions occurring in several countries. Not to mention our discussion about the sleeper cells that have been set up in several countries, here and probably yours as well, thanks to the Biden administration and all the minions across the globe that left the borders open, inviting these terrorists to come right into our countries. Not cool, friends, not cool. Now, I also predicted martial law being implemented, and there's an Illuminati card on that, by the way. I've showed you that card before. I've showed you many of those cards before, but there is a card on that. Martial law being implemented in several countries. Now, I said that, and we did just see that happen in South Korea, but that was just a whole joke anyway. I see it being implemented as a real thing, not as a political move like the guy did in South Korea. So perhaps not martial law in every part of the country, but I certainly see that taking place in places like Chicago, New York, Denver, LA, and Vegas just popped in my mind as well. Now, both Chicago and New York City are both a big part of some of my past visions and predictions. Remember, I saw some type of an explosion in a building that I believed was in Chicago. And we thought that maybe that was going to happen when they had, their little political convention there. And it didn't, thank God for that. Hopefully it still doesn't come into fruition. But I think this is a part of these global booms that are happening and these things happening. And I feel like it's an all-out attack happening simultaneously. Likely, again, planned by the deep state. And you got to remember that the deep state is connected to China, United. They're connected. They're all working together. They're all the elite working together for this sick global agenda to bring the world together in their world. NWO, look it up. So Chicago, New York, a big part of my past visions and predictions. And I wouldn't be at all surprised, friends, to see the evildoers on leash. I'm just saying. Also, to past predictions and even prophecies that they could literally use technology to unleash some type of a large tsunami wave into the East Coast. Just hit New York and take out the New York Stock Exchange. Collapse the economy. Or use that as the excuse to collapse the economy. But whatever's coming, and we all feel it, and we all know it, it's going to be a series of events. It's not just going to be one thing. It's going to be a series of events. And I'll tell you all right now, hold on tight because the 2025 roller coaster is about to take off. The longest, fastest, craziest roller coaster ever built begins, launching January 1st. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. To say the least. Spirit also said that we would be hit with one big event after another, right? And it seems that these hits are already begun. The big question here is, will the Dark Overlords unleash some type of huge events and attacks before the new president takes oath on January 20th? Or are they more likely to do something beforehand in order to sabotage the presidency or sabotage the inauguration? Spirit said whatever they launch will fail. So they're launching something. Now, likely, it will be both. I believe it'll be both, of course, one event after another. And I believe something's going to be hitting us in the next week or so, next week or two, or between now and, say, January 2nd. And something larger is happening as soon as Trump goes in. The months of March and April is a window to watch strongly. That's in my 2025 predictions. I believe I mentioned that window of time, very important. March, April. And the next few weeks as well. The next few weeks. And I did say 2024, I had this feeling would go out with this bang, and there's been a lot of bangs over in Europe. I don't know what's going on in Israel. I've been unplugged for a while due to unfortunate events and travel. So I'm a little behind with being plugged into things. And it's your comments that you leave down below of events that are happening that line with predictions that help me out so much. Because I don't always know what happened, especially in other countries. Where certain people in other countries say, like the oil spill that just happened, and I forget what country. It's at the bottom of my notes. But things like that, I don't always know. So please do, when big events happen and they align with predictions, please do leave it in the comments. And if you can find timelines on any of my videos of things I said, I love you even more. I love you even more. I wish I had somebody that I could do that, did that for me. Just not yet. In the future. My vision for 2025. A team of people working to pump out this stuff. So putting all of my past predictions together, along with some recent predictions that I feel will help fill in some of these missing puzzle pieces. And I wrote the following after a vision I had just a few days ago. I see major blackouts hitting New York, Long Island, and even parts of New Jersey. And I feel this is going to be the same situation in several other big cities when there are going to be attacks first on power grids. All of this is a part of a much larger, much bigger, darker plan. First, put them in darkness, followed by attacks on the people in the darkness. Get you in the night. And this can happen really late night, too. Really late night. Say 9 p.m., 9:11 p.m. to be exact. Now, that just popped in my brain. That would be crazy if it was at that time. I also warn our friends on the East Coast and everywhere, of course, globally. It doesn't matter where you are nowadays. Really, it doesn't matter. When the power goes out, never panic. But when the power goes out, please, friends, bunker down immediately, especially if you happen to be out in public, say at a club or a movie theater, even more so, movie theater or anywhere that folks go to come together to be joyful. This includes churches and gatherings at churches. Remember, I did say that I saw an attack, a pow-pow happening at around a church or something related to that. And there was just that pow-pow event that happened at a Christian school. I forget what state that happened, Michigan or somewhere like that. Very sad and tragic. But Spirit told us there's going to be major attacks like that when it comes to not just churches, Christianity, but you'll see it at synagogues. The other ones, I just drew a blank. But all religious structures, doesn't matter. It's an attack on religion altogether, but mainly attack on Christ and the people. Mainly attack on the people, actually, more than anything. It's attack on the people by the dark evil doers. Blah. We should catch them all, set traps to catch them all. But going back to the dark, this is really important, friends, because if the lights do go out, again, don't panic, bunker down. But if you happen to be out in the public, if you happen to be, especially if you're in a movie theater, a club, or anywhere where people gather, I tell you, go anywhere that people are together and being joyful and celebrating. It'd be all the more reason to ruin celebrations. So I would tell you a couple of little tips here to quietly, patiently, be patient, but also be quick to get somewhere safe. Better be safe than sorry, like they say. Hide if you have to. I'm also all about having some form of protection. I'm all about it on you, especially you ladies out there. You should carry, no doubt. I'm all about that for the ladies. But whether it's pepper spray or some other form of protection, especially if you're in your vehicle, just as a precaution. Again, as my daddy would say, better be safe than sorry, friends. This brings to mind another past vision that I had where I saw folks armed, again in masks, same scenario, trying to stop people on a highway or doing something on a highway system, maybe even opening fire on a highway system. I don't say this is the United States. I don't know where I'm at with this, but I feel like let's just hold in the light that this never happens. And that any planned agenda to do such atrocities to anybody are discovered by law enforcement and busted before they unleash some type of horror or something like that. Remember, use your intuition, be mindful, because if something seems off, then there's something off. Always report things that seem off or out of the ordinary. Regardless, even if it doesn't mean anything, at least you're more aware and mindful of things. I also warned for well over a year in predictions, and also in the channel predictions going back to 2023, that a coming attack on America is coming. It's inevitable. And I feel that this attack basically has already begun. With all the activity in our skies, Spirit warned us of flags flying ever so falsely in attempts to cause larger conflicts, right? And we know they do that, hence 9/11. So another disturbing past vision and prediction was when I saw visions of UFOs being used in an act of war. I said that a couple years ago. I saw them and I saw visions of them shooting lasers and blowing stuff up. Boom, boom, boom. And they were silver disc UFOs that I saw in my vision. And some could be some odd drones, I guess. If we never saw the drones before, I guess they would look like an unidentified object to us at first. Except for the ones that have, the propellers. We know they're drones. But other than that, and again, visions can be tricky. But I know what I saw clearly in that vision. And it was last year. And now, maybe that was, it might have been last year that I had that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last year. Maybe towards the end of last year, October of 2023, when I had visions of the drone, or not the drone, the UFO being used in an act of war, in combat. And now look at the drone invasion that's happening, friends. Look at what's happening. And some of the drones shooting lasers. Lasers didn't seem to be hitting anything, but they were definitely shooting lasers and drones. Or whatever they were. We don't even know if those things shooting lasers were drones. We really don't know. Who knows? But could this be what I was seeing in my past visions? I bet you it was. I bet you. Because one video I saw of it shooting lasers it totally flashed back to my visions. The only difference is when it shot the lasers in the video, I didn't see anything go boom. Whereas in my vision, I saw the same exact thing, except I saw things go boom. Lasers were hitting something. Something, someone, who knows. So attempts to cause larger conflicts. Everything's about, causing an event and then taking action. Another disturbing past vision and prediction was when we said that already. My bad. So are they about to bring destruction to our cities globally? I believe they are. That's how big psychopaths they are. Narcissistic psychopaths. Not if we keep putting this out, though, friends. Not if we keep putting this information out. The more we put this out, the more we let people know of these agendas, even if they call it conspiracy, when it starts happening, they're going to think twice if you alert them ahead of time. Even though they might think it's a conspiracy when you first tell them. And now it starts to happen, and then they'll think twice. But putting this out is a good way of letting people know that these agendas are there to be safe. And even though some of the world's top experts are saying the same exact thing, a fake invasion from, Greer. What's his name? Dr. Greer. I can't think of his first name. Greer, that guy. He's been saying it for decades, and they all called him a Fruit Loop. Now look what's happening in the skies. Just saying. They know. And they've been telling us in a roundabout way. Remember Orson Welles? And remember the Orson Welles? What was that called? Invasion? Fake alien invasion. They did it on the radio and everybody panicked. Was that just a test? And that was like over 50 years ago, 60 years ago when Orson Welles did that. Interesting little broadcast. We had to listen to that in school. I remember that. Interesting. Very, very interesting thing. So all this information, people have been letting us know for a long time, and they're all being called conspiracy theorists. Now we have all these things taken to our skies. And right now it doesn't really appear that they're a threat. That's at least what our government tells us. But what if they do become a threat, and they do this in order to initiate the NWO? It's their plan. Ronald Reagan said it. I showed you those clips too. Because I did do one video on these drones a couple weeks back before I went away. So go back, I forget what I said, but go back and check it out. This brings me to another memory that I had in mind. Two different memories, actually. First, Spirit telling us that China, along with Iran, Russia, were planning multiple attack scenario. I said that a few years ago. And that was before the creepy movie came out, Leave the World Behind. Remember that movie? And that movie produced by Obama. Remember in that movie, one of the first signs of attack in that movie was that the birds started flying off course. Remember the flamingos that ended up landing in the swimming pool in New York? Have you seen what's been on the internet lately with people posting videos of the birds going in the wrong direction? Birds flying north when they're supposed to be flying south. So there's definitely some strange things happening all over when it comes to birds flying and flying in the opposite directions. Spirit told us, remember, watch the animals. Remember, Spirit said the animals would show us the signs. Not only do we have birds flying off course, we also have people reporting in a video that fish are swimming in confusing circles. And even reports, especially off the East Coast, that dogs are suddenly acting very strange. I saw one lady this morning. She said her dog never did this before, and the dog goes out and they're walking and it stops at the tree and stares at the tree, like freezes, looking up in the tree, and then runs the opposite direction. Says it keeps doing that. Interesting. Now, is anybody else's dog having awkward, odd behavior, especially if you're on the East Coast of the United States? Do let us know in the comments down below, of course. Strange. Now, the sign in that movie, going back to the Leave the World Behind, the first, it was the animals. The animals were acting weird, right? The animals were acting strange. The deer were acting strange. The birds were flying in the opposite directions. Where it seems that we're hearing all these things right now. Now, you remember what else happened in that movie? Well, there was the blackouts, but then there were the drones. The drones covering the sky, dropping little tiny pamphlets that were written in Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. Remember that in the movie? So there's the drones. And I told you all we needed to be on high alert, especially after that movie and the simple fact that Obama was the main person behind all the detailed, creepy messages within it. Always found that man to be creepy. Took me a while, again, enlightenment to discover it. I did vote for that man first round. Probably the second, too. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. He would have won anyway. We know that was all arranged. Everything is arranged. Everything is totally orchestrated. Very, very, very finely. So, creepy messages in that movie, though. Creepy messages. I think I might even watch that movie again tonight. Just to see if I can see anything else that relates. Yeah, sure. And then, again, do something like that. And sure, blame another country in order to ignite a much larger conflict. Of course. So as much as I dislike seeing many of these visions that I have, and I take them as a way for all of us to actually prepare and to be mindful, because then when it plays out, we're not plugging into the dark emotions of it. And sadly, most people are still clueless. Not y'all, but, most people around us are still clueless to these threats that are now inevitable. Be prepared, friends. Be prepared. So we saw the very tragic events. Yeah, Pow Pow at a Christian school, but I didn't put where. I think it was Michigan. So very sad and tragic events also played out at a Christmas market in Germany, when a crazed individual decided to use their vehicle to bring harm to innocent Christmas shoppers. A similar event, and I'm not putting any video clips in today. I wanted to, but just no time. It's Christmas Eve. I'm going to get this out as quick as I can. And I just had a brain fart. Total brain fart. China. A similar event played out in China, where somebody used a vehicle as a weapon. And in China, it was even worse. They're both horrific, regardless. No comparison. They're both horrific. But if we were to compare the one in China, the video I saw, they were washing the red off the road, if you know what I mean. And there was an awful lot of red. Crazy. And remember, my past visions and predictions said that we're going to unfortunately begin to see crazed individuals using vehicles as a mass weapon of destruction. And now we see this playing out. I told you all to be extremely mindful when you were out on the streets walking around, to stay away from large crowds and stay far away from the roadside, off the sidewalk, far away. I've warned people about that. I still continue to warn you, friends, about that. Stay mindful. There's more coming with that. Even if you plan, I would not be planning to go to New York City this year, but if you are planning to go to New York City, stay away from the roadblocks. Stay away from the roadblocks. Because I don't know if this is in New York, But I see roadblocks, the yellow roadblocks, and then I see a car flying down the road, hitting a police officer car or police car to get to plow on the road. So I told him the light that doesn't come into fruition. And I just had that vision right now. So very, very sad and tragic events that have taken place in both those places, China and Germany. Now, you may also recall some of my past predictions revolved around Germany and Europe and economic issues. And I saw that people having major issues and shortages that are coming to Germany and all of Europe, shortages in gas. I saw people lining up for gas. Saw people lining up for food, like the Great Depression. I saw that years ago. I did a video on it called The Great Famine, I believe I named that video. And that's when I really started telling people to stock up. That might have been 2020, 2021. I did that video, The Great Famine. I did 2 videos on food and food shortages. And now there is, in Germany, I find this interesting. There was a shocking funeral that took place in Germany. A shocking funeral, shocking to some. And you may be shocked to hear who that funeral, it was a funeral procession type of thing. Maybe even more like a protest. I don't know. I just saw a quick video of it, and it was basically a funeral for Volkswagen. Volkswagen. Did you ever see the video where they put the VW on a record player and spin it, and it turns into a swastika? Wild, wild. I wanted to go out and buy a hubcap and try it myself to see if it was real. It looked pretty darn real in the videos. But regardless, is that a sign? I'd say it's a sign, maybe the end of an era and the beginning of another one. But our friends in Germany, be safe, be mindful, because I feel like something's coming there. Lots of things are coming there, and I feel like people are bunkering in their houses and not coming out. And I don't know why. If you're not coming out, then there's got to be something going on the outside that you don't want to leave your house. So friends in Germany, also make sure you have sources of heat, because I feel like certain areas there's cutoff of heat or cutoff of power. Well, probably both. Power than heat. So hopefully you got a fire stove or a wood stove and you got lots of wood. Going back to the health issues, I said a while ago that the Clintons, it's actually in my 2025 predictions that Bill Clinton's going to pass away. One of the Clintons is, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bill. But Nancy Pelosi took a roll down the steps. Nancy Pelosi, she's one of them that'll, it's how there's some of these people that just drink and smoke and they live to be 90, right? And they're not nice people. They're really nasty people. And they live to be so old. Whereas my mama always said, the good die young. And she did at 58. So I hope I don't. That's for sure. Nancy will be one of those people. But I did see tragedies striking the Pelosi family. Big tragedies. And issues legally as well. And one of the Pelosi's is on their way out. It'll probably be her husband. But one of them, within, I'd say, might not be 2025, maybe early 2026. And then one of the Clintons, I see a lot of problems for the Clintons. The Clintons are going into their both Hillary and Bill are both going into their 9 personal year next year. Endings, death of cycles, letting go of. My friend Susie passed away, and her partner, Bill, is in his 9 year, and he lost his significant other. So sometimes it could be the person in the 9 that passes. So both of them in their 9 year, they're in for a rough road coming up in 2025. And a whole bunch of karma that's coming back to them. Whole bunch of karma. We also know that I talked about volcanic eruptions. And I don't know, I said something about Mount Kilauea, but we talk about these all the time, so I don't remember what I said or when I said it, but I did see visions of Kilauea blowing, and it did just blow, and what a beautiful, spectacular sight that was. Although, my feelings around eruptions, that is considered United States, of course, Hawaii, but I saw volcanic eruptions happening in United States. And I believe one of those is taking place up north towards Washington, Oregon, Mount Rainier. Mount St. Helens, I believe, is another target. And then I see something happening at Yellowstone National Park. I've seen these visions before of lava flowing into the streets, cracking, like an earthquake that cracks and sends molten lava to the surface. Also igniting some fires and closing down the park. And there's going to be 3 huge volcanic blasts that all happen within just say a 3-day period. It might all happen within a 24-hour period. That's going to be the sign of something much bigger happening globally. And when that happens, when the second one blows, I'll go live for sure with the video because we'll know the third one's about to blow. And we'll get more information about that. But things are about to blow big time, friends. Big time. And I see a vision of a volcanic blast. It's so large that it literally, from where I'm standing watching it off in the distance, it's blocking out the sun. Just in that area. So that's going to cause issues with that area. It'll cause problems with their farming. And then again, this will kick in likely future food shortages depending on where you live on the globe. Not, time to be safe, friends. Time to be safe. The oil spill was in Nigeria. I talked about oil and problems with oil and major oil spills. And someone put it in the comments. I didn't look it up, but apparently there was a huge oil spill in Nigeria. There's going to be more problems with oil and gas coming up in 2025. More sabotages of pipelines. Some being refineries and such being destroyed in combat. And large gas fires that I see. Big, giant gas fires. I've had these visions before. Some of them reminded me of, what was it? Desert Storm. And all that happened in Saudi Arabia down there in Desert Storm. Yeah. So it's probably in the Middle East or something to do with the Middle East. Did you know the party's over? According to Party City anyway. Party City. I used to love Party City because I used to have so many parties. Every holiday parties, party, and Party City was the jaunt, baby. That was the place to go. Well, it ain't the place to go anymore. Is that telling us that the party's over here in the United States? Where are you going to get your party stuff? Friggin' Amazon? Blah. There's 7 planets that are going to be aligned for viewing in early 2025, friends. The January 7 visible planets will align in the sky in a planetary parade. It is a rare celestial event that is going to start just before January 21st with Venus. Interesting. It's going to start just before January 21st. January 20th is the inauguration. Just saying, friends. Just a thought. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. No, Uranus. No. Lining up for several weeks. People are going to be able to view Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn with the naked eye, but the telescope will be needed to see Neptune and Uranus. The planet parade is going to start after sunset January 10th, according to the Farmer's Almanac, and it is going to you'll be able to view this spectacle by looking south and scanning the sky from left to right. Look south, scan the sky from left to right, east to west, to spot each planet. The planet parade will last from January 21st till February 21st. With peak viewing during the week of January 29th. 29's an 11 day. Bet you something big happens that day in the world. Big boom, big earthquake, something. So Venus, Saturn, and Neptune will be seen after sunset and will dip below the horizon by midnight. I just thought that was just interesting. 7 is a very sacred number. It's sacred all throughout the Holy Bible. You have the 7 seals, 7 trumpets, the 7 archangels, and it's just all spoken. It's in all. Ancient Aztec, the 7's used quite often as a very spiritual vibration. The 7, when it comes to numerology, like the 7 years, all about spiritual ascension, shifting your beliefs. Very, very powerful number. So it's interesting. We have 7 planets aligning right as inauguration. Interesting. Very interesting. Not that it's related at all, but I will say that there's some kind of big, huge spiritual ascension that's happening on this planet for all of us between those dates. What were the dates again? January 21st till February 21st. That's easy to remember. The 21st till the 21st. Big, big, big spiritual ascension. Sun flares. It's gonna be wild, says the spirits. Gotta love those spirits. Was there anything else I wanted to touch on? Storm surge just hit California. I saw big waves hit in California and a small tsunami wave, and we did see that small tsunami wave a couple weeks back. Very small, and that's exactly what I saw. I said it was going to be very small, related to the earthquake. Nothing to worry about for now. Much bigger one will come in the near future, says the spirits. Storm surge in California caused a wharf to collapse. I didn't see that one coming. Didn't see that one coming. And then, remember I said there would be snow on the East Coast of the United States for Christmas, and they're getting snow right now on the East Coast of the United States. My friends back home in Philadelphia. Anyway, I think I got to leave you with that, friends, because it's Christmas Eve, and I really got to get this uploaded and go do something Christmassy. Like make some hot cocoa with some peppermint. I don't like peppermint, but it just sounded Christmassy. I very much hope you enjoyed today's content. Please do give it a thumbs up, love button, because I love you. And again, thank you to all the contributors, members of this channel that help support this channel and the members of the Awaken Your Spirit community. Don't forget to sign up for that free newsletter. And be sure to hit that subscribe, the bell, and all to make sure you get the notifications. I'll be back next Tuesday, right before the new year kicks in. We'll have one final show at the end of the year. It'll be fun. We'll have a blast. And Sunday will be my New Year's 2025 World Predictions, and that is long. It's several hours long. There's a lot to cover. I can't even cover everything that needs to be covered in 3 hours, so keep an eye out for that premiering on Sunday. I will have that hopefully up and posted by Friday so that you'll see it coming. Other than that, friends, I wish you, your family, a wonderful holiday season and a very, very Merry Christmas and a totally amazing, abundant 2025 and beyond. Until the next time, friends, I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you, and let your light shine, baby. Let it shine and direct you and lead you right into an amazing new year. Much love, friends. Much love.